Today, we're going to talk about someone who lived a very quiet life, tucked away inside a convent. But her simple philosophy? It went on to inspire millions. This is the amazing story of Saint Thérèse of Lisieux and what she called her little way.
But before we dive in, I want to start with a question, a big one, that gets right to the heart of everything she was about. Can the small, everyday things we do, the unnoticed tasks, the quiet moments of patience, those simple acts of kindness, can they actually be extraordinary?
Well, according to Thérèse, the answer is a huge, resounding yes. She was known affectionately as the Little Flower, and she literally built her entire spiritual life on this very idea. And it's a concept that would, believe it or not, change the world.
So to really get her philosophy, you've got to understand her life first. And her life was shaped profoundly by sorrow, right from a very, very young age.
I mean, just look at this timeline. It's an unbelievable concentration of trauma. At just 4 years old, Thérèse loses her mom. So her older sister, Pauline, steps in to be that mother figure for her, only to leave for the convent 5 years later. That's a second massive loss. And right after that, 10-year-old Thérèse gets so sick that her family is sure she's dying right before she has what she always described as a miraculous recovery. This foundation of grief and faith, well, it forged an absolutely unshakable conviction in her.
And that conviction, it fueled this unstoppable calling. Thérèse knew exactly where she was meant to be, the Carmelite convent in Lisieux, just like her sisters. But there was one major hurdle.
She was just too young. The head of the convent said no. The local bishop also said no. Now, for most of us, that would be it, right? End of the road. But not for Thérèse. On a trip to Italy with her family, she saw her chance and took this incredibly bold step.
So get this, during a public audience with Pope Leo XIII, 15-year-old Thérèse completely breaks protocol. She kneels right in front of him and begs for permission to enter the convent. Her plea was described as having a childlike audacity. And this wasn't some kind of teenage rebellion. Nope, this was pure, unshakable faith, and it left a serious impression on everyone there.
And you know what? It actually worked. Shortly after that, the message came through. Her request was granted. So at just 15 years old, Thérèse walked through the doors of the Carmelite convent. Her life's mission was finally beginning.
And it was inside that convent, in the quiet, simple routine of daily life, that Thérèse developed the spiritual teaching that would make her famous, her little way.
Okay, so what is the little way? It's a beautifully simple idea. Thérèse realized she wasn't going to be some grand heroic figure. Instead, her path to holiness was through doing the small, ordinary things. Patiently listening to someone, getting through a frustrating situation with grace, or helping somebody out without expecting any thanks. But doing all of it with this immense, extraordinary love.
Yeah, this quote just nails it, doesn't it? For Thérèse, the why behind an action and the love you put into it were so much more important than the action itself. No act of kindness, no matter how tiny, was ever insignificant.
The thing is, Thérèse's life was just tragically short, but her story and her influence were really just getting started.
She died of tuberculosis at the age of 24. Let that sink in for a second. All of this deep insight, this fierce determination, the creation of a whole new spiritual path, she did all of that by the time she was 24.
Right before she died, she made this incredible promise that she would let fall a shower of roses from heaven. Basically, that she'd spend her afterlife doing good here on earth. And sure enough, soon after she passed, stories of miracles and answered prayers attributed to her just started to spread like wildfire.
After her death, her impact just exploded. Her autobiography, Story of a Soul, became a global bestseller. Then, in 1997, she was named a Doctor of the Church. That's a huge honor given to saints whose teachings are seen as especially important. And maybe most famously of all, her little way directly inspired one of the most recognized figures of the 20th century.
Yep, you guessed it, Mother Teresa of Calcutta. She actually chose the name Teresa specifically to honor Thérèse of Lisieux. She saw the little way as the perfect model for her own mission, serving the poorest of the poor, not with big, grand gestures, but with small, real acts of love, one person at a time. It's this incredible, direct line of inspiration.
And all of this really brings us right back to where we started. Thérèse's life proves that you don't need to be loud to have a powerful voice. And you don't need to do great things to have a great impact. So the question for all of us really is this: what small, ordinary, seemingly insignificant thing in your own life could you do with extraordinary love today?